Young man, you too can become a hero.
当たり前だろ友達の国だ
You're in luck! I, regular attacker,
大丈夫でしょ
そうか。
日の神神楽
This is exhilarating. Get excited.
Welcome back, everyone, to another week of Shonen Junk. My name is Ben, and I'm with my co-host
Edgar.
Edgar, what's your hottest anime take? Tell me now. What is it?
One Piece is good.
Yeah.
Anything's a hot take in
That's a
anime
hot
world,
take,
Ben.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? You can't say anything without getting roasted online.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, this week, Edgar, I spent a lot of time just scouring the internet, scouring Reddit, my anime list, Quora, the depths of all of these places.
The bowels.
The bowels of the internet.
That's not pretty.
Yes. I just searched up on Google and was like,
So you didn't see the cursed
hottest
stuff.
anime takes. Yeah. I was like, hottest anime takes or most unpopular anime takes. So we're going to take your hottest anime takes and we're going to either rate them as facts, not like fact, but like facts,
Like, I relate.
or fiction, stuff like that.
Is it canon or is it just filler that we should just disregard, basically?
Exactly. Oh, that's a good one. Is it canon or is it filler? Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Did we just change
That's
it
better. Did we
midway?
just change it midway? It's canon or is it filler? We've
Yeah.
changed it. And there's no going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it.
Great. This is it.
What do you got for
I
me,
like
Ben?
that. That's so good. All right, Edgar. So I got a couple of submissions here. So we're
All
just
right.
going to call it canon or not. We'll, of course, talk about it and we'll use our insight on storytelling and other, stuff that we have.
Other things that anime watchers have.
Yeah. This one's more for me. Edgar, it's okay if you sit out this one. Akaga 550 on Reddit said 4 years ago, Dragon Ball GT is better than Super.
I know for a fact, even without being a Dragon Ball fan, to know that's not
No.
true. Didn't Akira Toriyama come back from the dead to
No,
not, to
so
because he was disappointed in this
So
or something?
he came back because he was so disappointed in Dragon Ball Evolution. He was so afraid that was going to be his legacy. So he came back. But he was also very displeased with Dragon Ball GT. And it could, you could argue that some of the concept ideas for GT are better than Super, but GT was just so poorly executed that no. Also, you could say that Super is better just based off of the premise that Akira Toriyama wrote and supervised Super,
Yeah.
whereas Dragon Ball GT was just Toei Animation, and I don't trust them with anything. So there you go.
I totally agree that it is.
Yeah.
Disagree that it's awful.
Yeah.
GT sucks.
GT sucks. That is filler.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You have been filled.
Why watch it?
Yeah, exactly. Get over there. E812, he said, One Piece being too long is a valid excuse for not watching it, since some people like me have problems with commitment, and some people might be too busy to watch a series with 900 plus episodes. 1,000 plus now,
Yeah.
a year later. But
See, I have issues with people who drop episodes after 3.
Mhm.
I know people who are I only watch 3 episodes and that's it. If they don't get me in the 3 episodes, and
yeah.
I get it, but it kind of frustrates me. Sometimes it takes a little bit while longer.
Yeah.
And I feel for this guy and for people who don't get into One Piece for
I do
being
too,
this
yeah.
long. I think it's a mildly facts.
Yeah.
Because it's not directly aimed at One Piece. It can go for anything. And without context, if you tell anybody, hey, can you watch this? And they're like, nah, it's just too long. Without any context,
Yeah.
you'd be like, I understand that. It's too long.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you have issues with the 900 plus episodes, I would try reading it. And if reading it isn't your thing, then just don't watch or read it.
Yeah. It's just when people
Yeah.
it gets in another territory when you start judging and rating it based off on how long it is without watching
exactly. That's the issue.
It's just
when you stop at
Yeah.
Arlong Park and you rate the entire thing.
It's
and you're
just
like,
a matter
seriously?
of calling it a valid excuse
Yeah.
to drop it because of too long, which it is. I find it a
is,
valid
yeah.
excuse.
And I agree. There are other alternatives that here at the Manga Monday show we don't recommend because they are illegal. There's a fan cut called One Piece.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
and
that.
it's a cut.
All the filler, all the openings. and all the
I
endings.
will not say that I've watched it.
A friend of ours named Gen.
Sen Bigmeyer. He has watched it and thinks it's really good.
I gotta meet this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sen.
He's so funny.
Yeah, but we don't, of course, always support the original product.
Yeah.
I
heard people
yeah.
watch anime in like 1.2 speed or like 1.5
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Yeah.
Like legitimately.
Yeah, I know.
I think
they do
that
it.
I can't do that. That doesn't
No,
make it,
no, I couldn't either. It's awful.
It's just how do you? I just can't take it seriously when they talk fast and stuff.
Yeah. So you think this is facts? I think
it's facts.
Yeah, I think this is facts. All right.
Or sorry, canon.
This is canon. Oh, yeah.
I was like,
this is canon. No, wait. We switched it back. No,
we can't
it's
even
canon.
commit to our
Yeah.
own thing.
Non-error on Reddit said Attack on Titan season 2 episode 6 has a wait what moment. You know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? For people who haven't watched Attack on Titan, there's a big plot twist that happens in there. For those of you who have, you know it. It has a wait what moment in a casual conversation. It was heralded as an amazing twist and a great moment in anime. I hated it. It wasn't a twist for me. I already suspected it based on the character design alone. Problem was, the way it happened in story was random as heck. I did not feel like this great mind-blowing moment. I felt like the author got bored, couldn't figure out how to advance the story, and just said, screw it. It was like if in Death Note, Kira or L just randomly announced who they were. It certainly injects a new element into the story, but it just doesn't work for me. The thing the character cares most about and the central conflict in any story can't just be a random wait what moment.
This is my guy. This is
Yeah.
wow. Wait, did he
I
say
think-
L and or Kira?
It said Kira or L.
Wow. If you have watched the show, you would have known that spoiler alert, but it's not really a spoiler alert because it isn't that relative to the plot. L does reveal that he is L to Kira. You dumb, stupid person.
Hold this L.
Hold this L because that's what
Yeah.
L does.
I see
It
where
is
he's coming
out
from.
of nowhere, but it the whole point of that is literally to advance the plot. That
Yeah.
it literally drives the story
Yeah.
forward in
And-
every way.
And if you catch on, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I think with story twists. Just because you catch on and you know it's going to happen doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. George R. R. Martin once said, if you built up the butler to do it for many years and the butler doesn't do it and it turns out to be the handmaiden, the reader feels cheated. He feels, why did I read all this buildup, for none of this reason? Yes, Bertold does look like the Colossal Titan. Yes, the Armor Titan does look like Rhina. Does that mean that it's like worse? No, of course
Yeah.
not. I don't
What
think so. At
what
all.
makes a plot twist successful is not based on how if everyone is shocked and surprised by what
Yeah.
happens. It's based on whether it's believable in the story. What makes a bad plot twist is when there's no build-up or groundwork for the reveal, anything for that to work. Otherwise, it's just like a might not just because it's not like shocking to you doesn't mean it didn't work, and like it definitely does drive the story. I'm sorry, my guy, but I got to call this filler.
This is indeed filler, and I think that what non-error is kind of forgetting is the psychological problems with Rhina.
Yeah.
So when he's talking with his friends, sometimes he has
He
multi-personality
thinks
disorder.
this is the best idea
Exactly.
ever.
So he's like, and it's really great. It's a really great plot twist, and it is one of the best moments in anime history. So this is filler. Sorry, buddy. Too many people hate on physically weak protagonists in action shows for being weak. Those characters are usually more entertaining than watch than 90% of protagonists that are OP from the start or become OP with sheer power of BS writing.
Most stories always start with weak characters getting strong.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's harder to tell stories where an OP character is too strong. There are some that are done really well. The obvious ones like One Punch Man and Mob Psycho, amongst others. A lot of isekais have like super strong character gets teleported to a world where everyone's weak and like whatnot. That's
You could say that like characters like Itadori are fairly strong at the beginning.
Yeah.
Even Luffy is fairly strong.
I would say I can go in the middle with. Well, I
me
can't
too.
say. I wouldn't say either go in the middle. You could make both of them work. It's just like it's much easier storytelling to approach the weaker side because that's something we can always relate to. Why do you think Spider-Man? All the superheroes are so relatable because they have a weakness because they start from nothing. even
Not looking at you, Superman.
no, not him. No,
Not you.
no, not him.
We don't like you.
Because most of them start from nothing, especially Spider-Man. He's like basically a nobody, and he gets the powers, and he works to find out ways. That's why these heroes are so relatable, because and luckily for us, they're an easier story to tell because they're just that relatable.
Yeah.
But you can make good stories from OP characters. You just got to do it well.
Yeah. It's definitely harder. So I think it's more interesting to watch OP characters at the beginning. But I think I also love weak to strong. I'm not I don't discriminate.
See, I agree. I've seen more stories better done weak to strong, but I have seen almost just as good or great stories with strong going forward. You know what I mean? So I would say that this is canon or facts with an asterisk as well, because there are definitely good stories that are with strong characters or OP characters.
Yeah. I would call this an episode with facts. I would call this an episode with filler and canon in it. Because it's one of those One Piece episodes where really good.
I actually hate those episodes. In
me
Naruto,
too.
they do it because I don't know what to skip because I just hate.
Do you know in the original Dragon Ball Z, the first half of the episode Goku going Super Saiyan is filler?
Seriously?
It's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway. Archron says, I don't see what's so special about Ghibli's movies. Personally, I can appreciate them, and I don't think they're bad by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm confused by their status as legendary near-perfect series, when most of them seem to be relatively generic and predictable, albeit pretty tales of a young girl on a fantasy adventure of some kind.
Big filler, big cap on this one.
Filler.
There are bad Ghibli movies. A few of them actually, and I haven't seen them yet, but I know that there are some bad ones, and none of them are atrocious except for Earwig the Witch, that 3D animation one.
Yeah.
But other than that, the other ones are just just bad. But I think the best of them and the most of them are best are phenomenal, not just because of its animation. It just feels Ghibli movies just hit different, and I don't know how to describe them when I watch them. They're just great. They write women characters so well. I feel like that's something that shouldn't have to be a benchmark for storytelling, but apparently nowadays.
Well, and also
for
Japanese storytelling.
And the anime storytelling, apparently that's a benchmark because they just tend not to write women well. But in Ghibli movies, they really write them well.
Yeah.
And the music, and the animation. Why do you think Disney picked up on them so early on? Because they knew it matched their core.
Does Disney own Ghibli?
Yeah, at least they're if they don't own them, if I can't remember quickly, if they at least distribute them to the West. They were able to redub a lot of the movies. They redubbed a lot of their movies
with famous actors, right? Yeah.
And they're known. Yeah, they either have some rights to it, but the reason why they picked up on it because it just matches so well. It's one of those Ghibli movies you can watch as a kid and an adult and enjoy them anyone can enjoy them. Why do you that's basically what Disney is all about.
Yeah.
Because there's great stories and amazing animation and beautiful storytelling.
And Studio Ghibli is it really brought a lot of benchmarks to anime.
It brought people to anime.
Exactly. It's really what kicked it all off. You can point at stuff like Dragon Ball, One Piece, Bleach, all that stuff, but in reality, what are you showing to kids? Studio Ghibli,
I think I showed my parents Spirited Away before I showed them Attack on Titan. Not Attack on Titan, but Your Name, and I showed my dad Attack on Titan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so this is filler, obviously.
Yeah.
The next one. The more anime you watch, generally the less enjoyable it is. I found that the vast majority of anime fans to be below the age of 30, and I think that's because anime can be so repetitive, formulaic, and predictable. I'm not talking about bad shows. I'm talking about high-quality animation, writing, and characters that eventually ceases to deliver enjoyment.
No, that's filler.
Yeah.
It's called Burnout Syndrome. That sounds funny. That's a band's name. I just realized that.
Yeah,
Burnout,
it is.
I meant, I don't know what you call it. It's burnout. It's a burnout effect.
Yeah.
When you get into anime, you don't just at least 99% of people who watch anime, they just immediately get into it.
But
they watch so much.
Yeah, doesn't this just happen for everything?
Yeah, it happens with that's what I'm saying. It happens with anything.
Yeah.
You just watch too much of it and you just kind of get tired of it.
But I think the reason why I've been watching anime for a long time and why I don't think it's repetitive, formulaic, and predictable is because you have to figure out your own schedule. You have to figure out, because if you binge watch like a lot of shows in so many days, yeah, of course it's gonna be you're gonna feel. But I feel like anime and manga specifically is just such an expression of art that's away from like the Hollywood machines that we normally see.
Yeah.
You know, like. And we watched a movie this week, Everything Everywhere All at Once, where that was such a breath of fresh air. I feel like all manga and anime is like that.
Yeah.
And in a form, in a different, like, because you see different art forms, you see different storytelling, you see just these crazy, wacky ideas put on a page, and you're like, this is crazy. This guy has a chainsaw for a head, and it's coming out of his eyes, and he's making people bleed, and it's crazy. You know.
Yeah.
But,
So when you see a lot of it, you feel like you're not getting enough, but you've just seen so much of it.
Yeah.
Also, when most people watch anime, they tend to watch the greats first, and they start to like not dwindle down, but once you've seen like a majority of the greats, some people might feel like they're only watching bad stuff. When it's not true. You just saw like all the 10 out of 10s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, filler. kind of yeah.
Next one. Cowboy Bebop should be a below-average dub. Its main cast is decent, but lots of the supporting characters have terrible voice work. But it's held as one of the best, if not the best, due to how low the standards are in the English dubbing industry.
I don't have too many. I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, but I've seen a lot of clips, and I don't recall what the supporting characters sound like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just know that it's a great dub, and I heard Spike's voice, which is great.
I mean, Steve Bloom just kills everything.
Yeah,
he's
and
in.
the main chick, I don't know what her name is, the one with the purple hair. She sounds
Faye.
She sounds great.
Yeah.
I can't say, Ben, you take this because you've seen the entire thing.
Yeah, so I watched all of it in sub, and then I've watched episodes in dub. I see what he means by supporting characters. I would say ensemble characters, but I mean, I can see what he means from the first part. I don't agree with it. But then the last part where he says the low standards of the English dubbing industry. I'm trying to get into the English dubbing industry, and it's hard. It's hard for me.
What does he say?
So he says, but it's held as one of the best due to how low the standards are in the English dubbing industry.
No. Even dub watchers would know what bad dubs are. Most of them do, and they would agree that that's among the best.
Yeah.
Because I know some people who watch only dubs, and they'll recognize Cowboy Bebop as one of the best dubs. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's the best one. And the rest of them, I know I only watch dubs, but, they're just not as good as Cowboy Bebop and amongst others. Yeah, I would, no. I don't agree with that.
And I'm trying to get into it, and it's really hard. So I'm like, either I suck really bad, or if what he's saying,
low standards
I
aren't
suck,
the...
I'm awful.
Yeah.
But, I would like to think that I'm an okay actor, but
decent.
A decent.
Yeah.
This next one, this one's interesting. I was interested with this one. This one was 8 months ago, and it was by Rar Fox. Oh boy.
Rar Fox.
Anime is not just a medium to adapt a written work, and manga isn't just a pipeline for anime. A manga can be a good manga and never get an anime adaptation. There's plenty of manga that flat out wouldn't make a good anime. And the fact that fans clamor for anime without thinking this is really annoying. Subsequently, anime doesn't need to have a source material or stick closer to that source material. Lots of animes deviate in some way from their source material to provide a better experience for anime that a strict manga adaptation could. Then there's the wonderful world of original anime and all the unique ways they can take advantage of the medium without being held back by what can be represented in panels and text boxes.
That's why it exists, but that's not. I guess that shouldn't be the only reason.
I think
why
that's
it
why
exists.
I think that's what he's saying is that shouldn't be it. And I agree. Like when you think about anime, like solo animes, you start to think about things like Cowboy Bebop. You start to think like Neon Genesis, Evangelion.
Akudama Drive is a great
Yeah, it's a
original
good
anime.
one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Darling in the Franxx isn't that good, but it got a lot of people
and
into
think
it.
about anime movies. Like we just talked about Studio Ghibli. We talked about we talked about Your Name.
Your
Weathering
Name
with You.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. I agree. I also agree with the part where that some manga can't be adapted into anime.
Yeah.
One could argue that Berserk probably
can't.
Yeah. Vagabond is amongst another one.
Probably can't.
Vinland Saga, maybe, but they did really well with it. Wit did pretty well with it.
Yeah.
But I agree to that to some extent.
Yeah.
I feel like some manga only belong.
I agree with everything except one sentence. He says lots of animes deviate from the source material to provide a better experience. I see what you mean. That's the only part that makes me middling. I think this is canon, but for that part, I'm just like, but why do it if you're gonna deviate from the source material? You
and
know?
a lot of not that many deviate from the source material.
Yeah.
It just happens a lot to where like this has to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm in the middle with this one with some parts.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I think it's canon, but yeah. All right, this next one is named Benny22.
Hey, that's you.
It's not me, I promise. I really hate it when characters are given such an overwhelming trait and they beat the hell out of it. Demon Slayer is a perfect example. All the Hashiras, or most of them, have a trait, and every time they are on screen, they, for some reason, have to follow that trait religiously.
It's kind of like what a personality is. I know someone that's obnoxiously loud. That doesn't mean that they're gonna. You think they're not gonna be loud all the time if if that's what they're known for, buddy? That's called a personality. That's what they are.
I see what they mean. Like in One Piece,
Zenitsu crying, I get that.
I get you. Every character has a gimmick. Like the love Hashira, she's in love with everyone, you know. But I think it's a good. I think just because it's a simple storytelling element doesn't mean it's not a good one, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way of setting up characters, especially manga and anime. You have to realize is mostly for kids, you know.
Yeah.
Like not.
You have to
mostly,
distinguish
but,
the characters
Yeah.
pretty far from each other. So giving these characters those traits are a very easy way to make them unique.
Yeah.
You know, we just talked about it when we were talking about personalities. What makes great characters is giving them those traits, making them different from other people. Even if it's just one glaring one, is good, and if it's like, you know, a minimum that you should have for your stories, specific with manga and anime.
All right, Edgar, we're getting towards the end of the video, so we're gonna read some of this, and you're just gonna give me canon or filler, and give me like a sentence.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Nidoraid 24 hours says, Mob Psycho 100 has a major problem where the end of each season, it throws away all the good character stuff and becomes a basic battle shonen for a few episodes.
Filler, Cap.
Filler? Yeah.
I don't say it throws what away? I'm sorry, just real quick.
Throws the good character stuff away.
What does that mean? What are you
Like,
talking about?
I think he's talking about like good character stuff, like the good character elements in it, you know. And then
First of all, there's only 2 seasons, so you make it sound like there's 5. It's not true. No, it just moves forward with it.
Yeah.
This guy's, I don't know what he's talking about. Filler, Cap.
Great. Cyber Sky 4 months ago said, low conflict slice of life series are what makes anime distinct from other media. I think with other popular anime series, you can find equivalents to in Western media in either movies, streaming, miniseries, or TV shows, but you can't find something as low stakes like K-On!, Yuri Camp, or Flying Witch.
Yeah, I agree. That's not a hot take. That's a mild take. Yeah, that's
a pretty mild take,
it's like the exact opposite of battle shonen.
Yeah.
It's just school people doing stuff, and they find ways to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that's
Canon.
I really liked when I read that, because I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like here in America, we really crave drama. We really crave conflict. We don't have that low stakes.
You would think that high schools would deal with high school, but no, they got to add so much more stuff in high school shows.
Yeah, and we talked about like sports. Like it's never about the sports. It's always about the personality and what's going on outside. But yeah,
there's always drugs and sex involved, which you don't want.
Exactly. Just one random guy said 2 months ago, dubs aren't usually as bad as people say, and sometimes can be better than the original voice acting in certain instances like Cowboy Bebop. I believe a lot of this sentiment stems from unnecessary elitism.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with it totally. 100% canon. I agree with this guy. Doesn't mean that all dubs are good, but people shove them off way too many times for the wrong reasons. I agree with this 100%.
Yeah. Well, great.
Yeah,
there
that was
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I eventually want to get to a point where we have a broader enough audience that you guys can put in the comments.
Yeah, put your own takes.
Yeah, put your own takes.
Yeah.
You know,
and
then we react to that. So if we get a lot of people to watch this, put your own takes in the comments below, and we'll react to it on our next. I almost called it fact or fiction, canon or non-canon,
canon or filler.
Yeah.
That's
see you guys
the one.
on next week. Shonen Junk.
Yeah.